happy day. Today we have another watchdog accompanied by our dear friend Victor Vaassen, in which we had our pop-up shop during the TFAF art fair here in our beautiful city of Maastricht. And we just found it a great idea to make a watchdog together to talk about one of his biggest passions, which is vintage Cartier, which is a theme which got us all over the last couple of years. We all got infected by it, but the man sitting next to us is one of the biggest experts, if I might say. And today we're going to talk about a few of his watches from his personal collection, and to talk about his passion, and also to talk about some of the history of these beautiful watches. So first of all, welcome for joining us. And we're going to do, first of all, a little wrist check to see what we're wearing. So Victor, you might want to start off.
Yeah, I'm wearing a Cartier watch, which is called the Vendôme. The Vendôme is one of the watches which was available at Cartier when they remade their lines in 1973. This one is in perfect condition. It even has the strap on it, which was made for the customer when it was sold on the Cartier boutique in Paris. It's fully original. And it's never been worn. What makes this watch more special than other ones is that it's an automatic piece. It's a little bit small, but it was a gentleman's piece at the time. And me personally, is one of my favorite Cartier watches, which is wearable for every day. So
Sure is a gorgeous watch. Difficult to beat that, I have to say. Bernd is not wearing a Cartier. You're the only one.
I'm the only one missing out. I didn't get the memo. No. Yeah, I'm not wearing a Cartier. I'm wearing my Patek World Time 5110 reference in white gold with the beautiful guilloche silver dial. Just all-time classic, perfect everyday piece. Super classy, and it's the watch I wear the most. It's my favorite watch currently, and I'm wearing that today. So I'm not wearing the Cartier, but you are, right?
So for the people who got the note that they had to wear a Cartier, I'm wearing the dual time quartz. It's a little bit newer than the one that Victor was wearing. But it's cool because it has a dual time zone on it, and it's just a different look with the tonneau shape. Yeah. Funny because Cartier is very known for their shapes as a jewelry brand as well. So cool piece for every day. I don't have the biggest wrist, but it still fits very nicely, and it's very, very comfortable.
You know, we had this watch in the window, in the shop window this week, and a lot of customers came in and asked if it was a women's watch, but it's actually not. It's a man's watch originally, and especially if you imagine the history behind it. A banker sitting in Wall Street to check a second time zone, making his deal. So it's quite a very luxurious and beautiful man's watch, which can also, of course, be worn by a woman, because all women wear watches nicer than men. Yeah, that's just true.
Okay.
So we have some beautiful Cartiers here on the table, which is your personal biggest passion, but maybe some history behind the brand itself, because you have a family business.
Yeah. Vaassen Jewelers was founded in 1900 by my great-grandfather. He started the company on his father's farm, just with making reparation on watches, but also small electrical machines. So after 15 years, he had enough money, and he was able to open a store in the city of Heerlen, which was the city where me and Bernd are coming from. And the city of Heerlen was thriving at that moment. So the city had the mines, a lot of people were coming, so it was a small town until 1900. There were only like 5,000 people, and at the highest point there were around 100,000 people living there. But the mines did that. So my grandfather went to the city, he started the company, and in 1915 he opened the shop in the city center and started doing business. He started doing business with making reparations, especially on pocket watches, which the mine workers needed, and also making small reparations on jewelry. Now, after 11 years, he had enough money to make his own building, so he built his own building on the market square, and at that point he opened the new shop on the market square, where we are still today. In 1970, I think, my father, in 1973, there was a guy coming to our shop, and he was selling liners of Cartier, which were very popular at that moment. So my father said, yeah, I'm selling Dupont, but maybe we should try something else. Let's try Cartier. So he told the guy who was the salesperson at that moment, I know the brand, it's a good brand, but let's see, let's try some lighters, and if we sell some lighters, we just pick up from there.
Cool.
Now it went very fast. So especially when in 1978 Cartier introduced Le Must de Cartier, they went really high.
Controversial thing.
It's a very but still, you know, it made the brand big
It's
at
good
one
for
point.
them,
But
yeah.
until that, it were only majorly gold watches they were selling. So I have like one piece is coming from that collection, what I have here, and I have more here in the back. But you know, not a lot of people were buying Cartier because you know, Omega was the market maker at the moment. They made the best watches, the most watches, and the best quality watches, which is most important, and cheaper.
If only you can tell that today.
Not today, yeah, but it was at that point. The problem with Omega was they were making too many watches. You know, if they made less watches,
it would be more prestige.
That's why they're also less
But
desirable
still,
at the moment.
but still, you know, if for any vintage collector, you know, start up with a nice CMOS de Ville
Yes.
or Constellation is great. You know, you buy a watch which works, which is very well to make again when it's broken.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a trustworthy watch. You know,
They're good looking watches as well. I mean,
They are.
timeless watches.
That's it. You know, and but you know, an Omega was costing 2,000 guilders at the moment, so it's 1,000 euro. The Cartier was selling for 6,000 guilders, so 3,000 euro. So you can understand, not a lot of people were buying the Cartier watches, you know, because there was a watch which is buying the movements a lot from Omega, putting them in their own watches, and selling it for 3 times the price. So a lot of people are like, nah, I just stick with the Omega. So that's why the watches became very collectible now, because they were selling, but they were not selling like other brands. Smaller amounts, special people, people who already had a lot of watches. So it's good.
Your family company had Cartier for 45 years.
Yeah, and just to have a small notice, you know, the family owned the company for mine, but just to have Cartier to see. In 1970, the last Cartier member left the company. So Pierre Cartier sold the London boutique, and at that moment, the boutiques were searching for a new way to go. So there was one guy with the lighters. He came and he bought all the companies. So he bought Paris, London, and New York, and he all combined it together and started the company again. So and for us, you know, my father was coming into the company in 1970, and he picked up some new brands. So it was not only Cartier, it was also Chopard he was selling. It was Cartier, Piaget at that moment. All kind of new brands.
Omega as well, right?
Yeah, we had Omega, but the problem was in our city, the distributor of Omega in the Netherlands was also located in our city.
Oh, okay.
So we needed to do something else. So what did we do? We did it with other brands, which were very popular, became very quickly also popular. So so that's also with the history from Cartier from 1973 until 2014. We sold the brand in our store. Then the company made some new choices, which is, you know, a lot of companies do. So they go to their own boutiques, they go other kind of distribution channels. But the passion stayed with the family. You know, we knew a lot about the brand. We still know what is good, what is not good. So yeah, we started collecting the old pieces.
It's quite funny because we're talking about 73 as some kind of takeover period, of course, but your passion is before that period.
Yeah, especially it's not only also the watches, it's also the jewelry before 1973. You know, it's a big thing because I'm a jeweler. I'm not a. You guys are really passionate about vintage watches. I'm a vintage jewelry. You know, I see a watch is also important for a person, but I also see the jewelry is something also, you know, I really like, you know, because it's also really nice made, it's handcrafted, it's a lot of craftsmanship.
But maybe that's also why you feel affection for Cartier, because it's just more than just a watch. It's a jewelry piece, which tells the time.
Yeah, that's it. You know, it's something, you know. It's a statement. If you wear a watch, you know, a lot of people. It's the same if you wear a Rolex or you wear a Patek Philippe. You know, I'm into vintage pieces, especially with you. I like complications. You know, Cartier is more or less like I like a nice piece of jewelry. That's it.
Designs.
Yeah, the designs are iconic, especially the tank watch. You know, the history behind the watch. If you look at this piece here, it's a piece from Cartier made in 1955. The watch is hand wounded, of course, like a lot of them.
Yeah.
Very flat.
Franka.
Yeah. So it's a J. Hooter movement. So, but what makes this watch more special is it's sold in a New York boutique. You can see on the numbering on the back because they numbered the watches differently than the others.
I see. Yes.
So you have the pink gold inside, yellow gold outside clasps, which okay, it's a little bit more early than the 1970s.
Yeah.
So it's all dated. And what makes this watch special is I bought it from a guy in Brussels, and the guy owned the watch, and when he opened a new car factory after the war in Belgium, he made the deal with Ford. And after he made the deal, he went to the Cartier boutique in New York, and because he made the deal, he gifted himself this watch. So really cool story.
So you bought it from the original owner?
Yeah, I bought it from the original first owner. So this guy wore the watch for a long time, and then he said, "I'm not able to work with the manual white anymore." So I sold him a quartz Tissot and took this one back and gave him some money with it. So
even without the story, this is a very unique watch at this moment in this condition.
Yeah, it's really cool. So
what I always have found very interesting about you guys is that Cartier has become really big over the last years, but no one had the knowledge. But because you have such a big affection for these watches and also family history for 45 years selling these watches, you're one of the first guys who really know every detail about these watches. Like, for example, you told me about the clasp, which is 2-color, and the numbering and the inscription on the bag, and it's incredible.
The funny thing, is there is not a lot really known about Cartier about the past. So what do? I collect a lot of watches. I started in 2017 making a collection.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, and then
that at the back, that's just his personal Cartier collection. These are all Cartier pieces.
So I started collecting, and what do you do when you collect? So when you collect the watches, it's like, okay, you're gonna look for what's the same in different watches.
Yes.
What do you know? What do you know for sure? You write it on a paper. What do I know for sure? Because there was many changes in 1970, 1980 for Cartier, the Must. There is no really good documentation about.
It's not like
Rolex or Patek or Omega, where you just go, hey, I have this piece of this number. Where did the watch sold?
But this is also the reason why it's so difficult to acquire the knowledge online, because
it's just seeing a lot of watches, looking at them and knowing, okay, this is good, this is not good, this is because at one point the three companies like Paris, London, and New York were making their own watches. So New York went to Switzerland, said to Buesch Giraud, make me some watches, which were only sold in their company. And then, okay, let's go make some AP movements in the watches in the 1950s. Nobody was using, everybody was using.
So this one had a GLC movement. Yeah, because the other movements that were used for the New York ones are AP
or Cartier Inc. Yeah, but Cartier Inc. was also a corporation. So, not every city was doing as well. What was good? Now the 50s, there was the coronation of the Queen, and in England, who just died 2 years last year. So it is a big thing in England. So a lot of notable people come to England. They go to the shop. They were selling good then, but Paris was not doing as well because France, after the war, it was
a big mess.
Yeah, it was a mess. So you have all kind of situations in the in the history. What's also funny to know is Cartier in 1970 was not opening the boutique firstly in New York. There was firstly, okay, let's go to St. Petersburg because there are some rich guys over there, So, but then the revolution came and they were like, okay, don't go there. We go to New York. So first of all, they were thinking about opening a boutique in St. Petersburg, not in. They were doing some diligence there. So it's really cool.
They were seeking for an environment where there is money and taste in jewelry.
And especially people who can afford a more expensive piece, So, and this is what they did, When you in the 1920s were under Rue de la Paix, it was the place to be in the world, It was the place where all the rich people came to the Ritz Hotel, or they were having their family holidays. There were even people living in the hotel, not going back home. So it's it's crazy. You
Yeah,
know?
this was the place to be for Cartier or something
For
else.
Cartier, but not only Cartier, it was Boucheron, it was Van Cleef, all the jewelers were in the area.
Especially also the Art Deco era was incredibly crazy for jewelry.
Yeah, especially, it started with Art Nouveau, then there came the war, then we went over to Art Deco, and the modern art era was not that big, it was a difficult era because of stuff also happening in the world, first in New York, later Germany, so it was not a very good time for watches and especially also not jewelry.
Yeah, you can see that in every brand, but also like we talked in the 80s, going to the Must, it's a huge difference as well.
Yeah, but it's a quality watch they made. It was not 6,000 guilders at the moment; it was 750 guilders. So Cartier became affordable. So a lot of people were able to afford a Cartier watch. They bought the watches and started wearing them. So it was available for the main public at that moment. Still. It was a lot of money, but
true.
It was less than an Omega. So
no, but you can see it now as well. Cartier has really thrived as a brand. I would say maybe last year was a very big breakthrough for them. But you can see the Must getting popular as well.
Yeah,
I know.
The steel one with the colored dials really gained popularity over the.
It's a beautiful watch. It's an iconic piece, and but it's different. The Must made also Cartier a watch brand.
Yes.
Before it was a jewelry brand. So at this moment, this was made for the customer who came to the shop and said, I want to buy a nice brooch or a nice ring for my wife, but I want to watch myself. So then they said, okay, let's make a nice watch for you. And but it was not incomparable like Omega or Rolex or
not mass produced.
or Patek was producing. No, it was. There was some stock. But
all these watches are handmade as well, right? So
the cases are handmade and the clasps are handmade in the.
The ones were bought, right? So it's because Jaeger LeCoultre. I mean, it's different.
Yeah, it's
Jaeger LeCoultre.
Yeah, the Louis Cartier, the one of the founders of the company. The only thing he said to M and Jaeger was like, I like my movement to be flat.
Yes.
And small. This is the only thing I'm asking from you. I will do the rest. So this is what he said. And so Edmond Jaeger he made very good movements. The only thing he did was it needed to be flat.
Yeah.
And you can see also on this watch, I have a Benoit watch over here. It was also a thing. He said, okay, I don't want people to see the movement, so he did it on the back. So on the back there is the Jaeger LeCoultre movement.
Yeah.
So you could wind it, so it's gone. And what makes this watch special is like Cartier made one watch for a customer in the 20s, a Benoit watch, and in 1957 they brought the Benoit watch again in the collection, and this is from the first collection then.
Yeah, so this is
that's a very early.
First
very early. Because what we see now is a lot of popularity for this model, right?
Yeah,
because of the remake
the
this
Benoit.
year.
It's sold out, so it's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. You can see a lot of celebrities walking
with
these and with the smaller watches, and probably that attracts attention to the vintage ones as well as a substitute. But it's more special than that, of course.
It's an old piece, Yes. There's a nice patina on the dial. You can see it's nice. I like it. But
it's personal taste.
It's personal taste,
Sure,
so
it's with everything.
But it makes it really cool, a watch like this, it's the same as with the clasps, pink gold, yellow gold on the outside, so it's an old piece. And also, what makes the watch nice is the movement is perfect. Jaeger movements at that moment were the best you could buy.
Why would you make them yourself if someone else can do it better?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think 90% of the modern watch brands are doing that.
Of course, I mean, why would you even, as a customer, you want something reliable, right?
Yeah,
so,
and it happens with a lot of industries. For example, the car industry. A lot of car producers make the chassis, and then they just buy an engine from Yamaha or Ford.
If you buy a Peugeot, you buy a BMW. Engine,
which is the better choice.
And if you buy, buy a BMW diesel in the past, it was a Peugeot,
Well, it's totally. I mean, there's a lot of meaning to it. I have to say, but also they could still engrave them themselves if they really want to, for example, and they did also with the Collection Privée in the 2000s.
This was a big step for Cartier. We bringing all kind of new pieces, boutique only because they had the boutiques. And they did a lot of vintage pieces. They brought it back again. So you see the Paris on the dial. It has a lot to do with watchmaking. Also, they did. So yeah.
So maybe you can tell something more about the Paris writing on the dial, because there is a big misconception in the market that if the watch features Paris on the dial, it is sold in Paris.
No,
But that's just not true,
No,
right?
it's not true. Now, the Paris dial was more a thing. The roots of Cartier were in Paris.
Yes.
You know, the family started the company on the Boulevard des Italiens. I mean.
You tell me, please.
Yeah. So
My French is pretty bad.
So
I don't work with watches.
I love going there, but
it's not
you know,
my thing.
So they started the company over there. They found out they didn't find it. They took our company over. So
Yeah.
and then it all started. But the roots were always in Paris. Paris was their place, and they said, okay, everybody has like Swiss made on it. We will say Paris. And it's in our watches. It has nothing to do because they sold it in the London boutique as well. They sold it in the New York boutique, and also they sold it at the jewelers. They were doing this.
It's just prestige.
It's prestige. I have a vintage piece. It's something which is more collectible. If you have Paris on the dial, it's a 3,000-4,000 extra.
You can see it now. I mean, a lot of
small
people
word.
a lot of people are emailing with people, which is sometimes you can see that a lot of people say, "Oh, it's Paris on the dial. Okay, that's nice. I want that."
Yeah, then you know for sure that you have the old piece. And it's not only Paris. Don't see any Swiss made, but still there are also Swiss made which are old. Depends on the era. But Paris is a 1973 until 1978. It's Paris.
Because the most dials we have are either unsigned
or
Paris or Swiss or
Yeah.
Swiss made. So there's a difference there, of course.
like this one is not signed.
Yes.
This is not signed, but no, it's old because of the movement.
And also, there's a thing about the hidden signature. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, it's fake if it doesn't have a hidden signature." I think you have your own opinion.
No, the hidden signature started in 1980s, so it's something Yeah, okay. If you think it's fake, let us know. We will take the piece. So no problem.
You buy it for gold.
Yeah, no problem. We will take your fake
We'll
watch.
grab a drink first.
Yeah, sure. We will take your fake watch.
So, would you say that the Cartier Tank, which was sold in New York, is your party piece? This is your special one?
I have some more pieces, but because it's a men's piece, so this was the men's size at the moment. There are some special pieces,
I also really love this one. This is quite an underappreciated tank shape.
Yeah, it's the R&D. It's the tank R&D, and R&D is like the curved tank. So it's not the straight tank. So but this one has a very famous wearer. Alain Delon. He was a very famous actor from France, and he was said to be the most beautiful man in the world for a time. They tried to get him in a Hollywood movie, but he detested the language, the English language.
Oh God, there we
So
go.
he said,
Sounds
really French, really
Sounds
French.
like a French thing to do.
So,
Yes.
but still,
No
Still,
insult at all.
No,
Sounds
no.
like a French thing to
But
do.
this is cool, But he was happy in the French movies, and he was popular in his own country, and he was even popular in Holland. The ladies from the Netherlands, they went to the movies to see the French movie, not to see the movie. They went to see Alain Delon, At the end, he even married a Dutch model, Van Bremen, I think. She's
Okay.
and 2 children with her. It's a really, really cool watch. He was the.
It's not a secret then that he just wanted to wear a French watch, and that's why he chose the tank.
Yeah, of course. He was French. This is the if you think about France and about the history, you have some really famous French people. But Alain Delon is one of them. He was cool at this time. A lot of guys wanted to be him.
Like
and a lot of
Steve
women
McQueen
wanted to be with him.
from-
So So like Newman for Rolex, it was that he was that he was wearing the watch.
Mm-hmm.
This was everybody wanted to be him,
Yes.
So that's why it was so cool to have the watch, So and Alain Delon was that for France, and especially the R&D, he was wearing it. Also, you have some advertisements. Some people say it was a reversal. No, it's the R&D. And what makes this special, it's a Piquet, Frederic Piquet movement is in it. So later the Frederic Piquet was making the quartz movements for a lot of companies. So it was a Piquet movement also in it. They were the only first Swiss company to make quality quartz movements, because The Swiss didn't know as good to make as good as
Japanese or something.
Japanese, you know, they made it.
Yeah.
They patented everything. So then the Swiss came and they were like, okay, what are we gonna do?
We need to do
we
something.
Need to do
with
something.
this.
So he was the first, and later it was integrated in the Swatch Group, even the company. So still today, I think there is a DNA of the Frederick Picquet movement in the quartz movements, which are sold by maybe
ETA movement or something.
Yeah, it's an ETA movement.
Oh,
and it's a
okay.
quality movement, you know. So really, really cool.
That's also a really, really fresh, beautiful example.
Yeah, this one is really almost on one, you know.
Yeah.
So it's you know, that's a good thing about the Cartier wearers. They bought the watch as a jewelry piece, so
Yeah.
normally they are in a quite good condition. You can still
Special
find
occasions maybe.
Yeah,
or
special
something,
occasions. You know, it was a more expensive piece,
Mhm.
so it was not for everyday use
No.
for a lot of people. Sometimes yes, but a lot of times no. So
But
yeah.
what I like very much about this sizing as well is it's difficult to beat up.
It's very flat and small, so
it's just if you're wearing a larger watch, then you bump into
Yeah.
things and it's
Yeah.
easy.
It happens.
But here the bracelet or the strap in this sense kind of shields you towards those
Yeah.
bumps into the tables and yeah.
Yeah, it's a Sunday piece.
So they probably stay a little bit better over time, but yeah, you have the thing with polishing, of course, because it's gold and everything. So
Yeah.
there's some things that are also negative more.
Yeah, but you know what's good about gold? You can always remake it as new. You know,
Yes.
this is incomparable with steel. It's not able. You're not able to.
It's easy to work with.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I can
so-
understand that surely. Maybe it would be funny for you, Björn, to pick a piece what you like most in this one.
Yeah.
Well, I really love the Centure.
Let's see.
It's a
What will be the
So,
pick?
there are two examples actually in these boxes. There is
Yeah.
another one there.
There we go.
I just really love the Centure. I always have. We had a couple of them in the past. We haven't had the chance to find one really recently again, which is also a problem you are dealing with. They have become pretty rare. And what I really love about it, also like again, it's the K shape that really stands apart. It's almost like an art painting on your wrist, which is really incredible. I really love this watch so much. The size is absolutely perfect, and these both are also.
This is not the Centure.
Oh, that's just Fabergé. But these are also automatic movements, which is really.
You can see it in the bubble back, right? So
Yeah.
you can see it in the back. You can see that they have
It's hard
to
to
fit in
see,
the
but you can
movement.
see that there is a small stab on the back, which means it has.
The Centure, named after the middle part of the belt, right? So that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
And you can see it a little bit if you look at the watch, that where the idea comes from. Also, funny thing about this one is the crown that is integrated into the case in some kind of sense, where it's really that square shape of the Centure.
It's really one of the most beautiful designs they have made, in my opinion, and they are still quite underappreciated if you compare them to some of the most hyped designs.
I think we can expect something in the coming years from Cartier.
Yeah, but maybe also like the
Yeah.
automatics.
You know, we had the Bulang coming out. You know,
Mhm.
it was also with a crown protection, which was a huge success when it came out. So they did the crown protection on the watch. I think the way Cartier is doing it. Last year we had the Tech Normal, which came out again.
Yes,
Very
sure,
limited edition,
sure.
Sold out very quickly.
Unmissable.
So I think we can expect a lot of watches like this. You know, they're
Are you
looking
still
back.
getting excited about the new Cartiers when they come
Yeah,
out?
some pieces, yes, yeah, for sure. You know, I love that they made the Cartier bangle, the Benoit. You know,
Yes,
because I
yes.
think it's really the DNA of the brand. You know, it's it's a nice woman's watch.
It's jewelry integrated.
Yeah, it's a really
Sure.
cool piece. You know, I think this is something they should focus on. I know Cartier is also looking a lot into the high horlogerie market, so making really more expensive pieces.
Not really the thing, like the skeletonized.
I like it, but you know, it's not the DNA of the brand.
Mm.
You know, it's the DNA of other brands. You know, leave it for the others. It's the DNA of Cartier is making a very well working,
Simple,
good looking
elegant.
watch. You know, this is
simple, elegant,
elegant,
timeless.
you know,
and
and
also you talked about the Blanc Bleu before, but if you hold this one next to it, I would say there's no competition. It's
yeah, for you.
for me personally,
Yeah,
I love this piece.
Yeah, but I still, you know, I still also like the Bond a lot. You know, it's because especially, you know, it's a piece. You know, it's especially also for men you can wear it, but especially for a woman, it's a beautiful watch. You know, it has the round. It is very elegant to see. Very wearable for every day. You see when you see people when you see a woman with
You
a Bond
recognize
you recognize it immediately.
Yes.
It's like a signature piece now of the brand, which I really like. You know, and you have And the good thing with Cartier is when you look at the watch already, you see it with the Roman dials, you see already very quickly, oh, he's wearing a Cartier.
Yes, that's
So
That's their
that's
signature.
this is the signature, and this makes it the watch and
it has a cabochon on the crown, I think.
But
This one doesn't have it.
No,
but
but normally
it's
they
also
have it.
recognizable.
But what makes what I think is cool is it was very quickly it was synthetic spinel, it's called. I
Yes,
think.
yes.
Because they always wanted to give the same color. So when you have an older piece, sometimes the color is different. So they still use the sapphire. But
And they have some different stones, right? So you have the red ones, the
yeah, nowadays they do the
diamonds.
Yeah,
as well.
the diamonds. When you have a diamond, it's like this one. You know, here you have two pieces which are newer. So this one has the diamond, which is turned up. So it has the this watch has the diamond on it, and you know exactly. Okay, it's a jewelry piece.
Yes.
So
It's incredible.
yeah, really cool that they did that. You know, but they also made it in the normal, and then you have the sapphire on
The
it.
blues.
Yeah, the blue sapphire.
And you have the ruby, for example. I know from the Centoses that we have. with the
Ruby is a lot of platinum they use.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Then they have
that's what I say as well.
when you have when you have a platinum Cartier watch, they use the ruby. So people who know, you know, then you see, oh, it has.
It's the
it
same
has a
what
ruby.
Patek does with the little diamond in the logo.
For platinum, yeah, between 6, but that's more difficult to see, I have to say.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
if I may go towards like the one that I really like in this case is just, it's weird because it's a very simple watch, but I really like the shape.
Elegant, yeah.
It's quite squared also, but it's a funny watch.
Yeah.
We had it before in larger sizes as
The
well.
Fabergé,
The
yeah.
Fabergé,
I had it
and
too,
just
yeah.
I don't know why it has no locks. The leather strap goes perfectly into the case.
It's a very unappreciated design.
Yeah, because it's so simple. Like the Centure is much more it's more difficult. It's still
Yeah.
timeless, but it's a more difficult kind of design. And this is just one bezel, and it's a beautiful piece.
It's not made as much also because it was not one of the
Yeah.
popular models when they reintroduced I think it was 10 models. This one was one of the less popular. These ones were better. You know, was selling more.
But you can see it now as well. A lot of people, if you have something like this online, it's going to have a little bit less popularity than other models.
Yeah, but it's picking up
It's
now.
growing.
Right?
Yeah,
It
it's
started
growing
with
now.
the Cousin, of course, the blue watch. Let's say Cousin,
Oh,
you know.
yes,
But
yeah.
then Crystal Lore were
Yeah.
just behind it. Nobody was liking that watch. It was
Mhm.
sold not a lot because who wants a watch like that? And then Fabergé came. It was a little bit more popular. So but pieces what was selling, of course, the Tank watch. You know, 19. That's
But
the watch.
it's insane because we're talking about the Crystal Lore. Last week I saw something like 25,000 euros for a
That's really
large
incredible.
Crystal Lore. I know it's something that you bought like 4 years ago for maybe
Yeah.
3 or 4. I
Yeah,
don't even know.
yeah,
Or
so-
maybe that's even expensive then.
Yeah,
It's-
everybody.
it's
Why does he
picking
buy
up.
such an ugly watch? You know.
It's-
So, but now you know because of the popularity,
It's
just
incredible.
around the brand, you know, it's huge. You know.
I know your father Bernard had one and
Yeah.
he still wants to
He
buy
still
it back.
regrets it.
He saw the price and he was like, oh no, I'm not buying that one back
Oh,
now.
yeah, you know, sometimes when I sell a watch, you know, I'm happy for the guy who has it, you know, because I told him, you know, it's a good watch, you know, buy it, you know, and sometimes when you buy a piece like that, you have to dare to buy it, you know.
Sure.
It's easier to buy a Tank watch, which is a really cool and nice
No,
watch.
but the Tank is the classic, but I think what makes Cartier incredible is all the outstanding design. So
Yeah.
a Tank is always timeless, but how funkier the design gets, in my opinion, how
Yeah.
more interesting
Yeah.
they become.
Crash, you know.
Yeah, but also the big Benoit is really
the Allen
incredible.
Yeah, but you know, this is what Cartier made big, you know, making cool designs, doing something different than the market was asking.
Mm-hmm.
Pioneering a lot, you know. It's something, you know, what I see back now this year again that they are making nice watches again. They lost it for a while, you know. They didn't do it for
I
a
mean,
while.
like the Exile Santoses and everything.
Yeah, you know,
nowadays.
it's you know, it's also a little bit what they do nowadays is you know they bring back they're looking back at their roots, you know.
Yeah.
What was good. You know, for a while they were making pieces like the Tank American until like 5 years ago the watch was only available in gold. Now they made a steel piece. You know, this is a little bit also it's not something, you know. Cartier was also the last company when you bought a diamond piece, the watch was made in gold.
Yes.
Other brands were also, you know, diamond pieces, steel. Rolex was doing it, but also Chopard, all Piaget. You know, they were making but still, Cartier was always, no, if you have a diamond piece from us, it's a gold piece.
Has to be
And
good.
then at
That's
one
not
point,
anymore.
you know, China was buying, and they're like, no, it's too expensive, and we need the steel gold. So first you saw steel gold, and at one point it was the steel watches with the diamonds. Still, they do that, of course. You also have to look where's the demand, but also they are looking back now at their roots and thinking, okay, let's make some special pieces every year for special customer who are looking for something unique, you know. And this is really cool that they're doing that again.
Yeah. Is there still a watch that's on your list that you haven't had and you still really?
And the
really
Cousin, you know, I never had one. I was in negotiation like 4 or 5 years ago and didn't buy it because I thought it was too expensive. It was 12K. No. Still regret that.
Every day for that watch.
Yeah. So I was like, you know, I can buy like 3 tanks for it. And it's still, you know, so I choose the 3 tanks at that moment. Still today I regret it, you know. But yeah. So
that's still your grill watch?
no, my grill watch, you know, I don't really have one, you know. I like, for myself, you know, I would like to have like an old piece, maybe like a London boutique piece.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
1960s, like America or 9 linear, you know, something like that. That would be cool to have.
Mhm.
But to be honest, you know, I like it a lot, but personally, what I really like is the jewelry, especially the brooches from the 20s,
so
Art Deco,
Yeah.
1950s, Cartier London pieces. This is something which this was the best you could buy at that point. You know, there was nobody making such nice jewelry as they were making.
No.
They were the trendsetter. You know, when Cartier introduced the aquamarine in the 1920s in the rings, everybody was like, we need aquamarines. But they bought the full stock already, so nobody was having that. They do.
Yeah,
But
I never had an eye for jewelry personally, but the last week we spent together in the shop, you started to show me pieces, and I absolutely have fallen in love with the craftsmanship and the attention to detail is insane.
Yeah, but also we're not talking about mass production pieces, right?
No,
so
no,
these were
No,
unique
no,
pieces.
it's also
request.
side pieces, so it's numbered. You know, it's what they say, yeah. It's the jeweler for the kings. But at the end, it's the king of jewelers. So they
Yes.
were the master. They made the masterpieces.
I
They
understand.
together, I think they are in a little bit of a competition with Van Cleef. They make really nice pieces as well. But nowadays they belong to the same group. So
Van Cleef is also picking up because I think a lot of people were.
yeah, especially Alhambra, but what they made in the past with their invisible setting pieces and the pieces they made, and especially what Van Cleef is doing with their school. If you want, it's really cool. There is a école which is on Place Vendôme with Van Cleef. You can go there and just learn about jewelry from Van Cleef. They tell you in one day, let's look at some Art Nouveau pieces. Let's look at some Art Deco pieces. Why is this so special? Why is this made as beautiful as it is? What makes this better than? And this is really cool that they are doing that. Van Cleef is also teaching the world about jewelry, and I think this is really cool that they are doing that.
And it's also for Cartier, if you're really into Cartier, it's not something that you can ignore. I mean, it's a huge part of their business. And like Baron said, of course we're into watches, so we're more into the Cartier watches. But you told us about the jewelry, you showed us some pieces, even like brooches and things like that. It's insane to see.
This is amazing.
Because you have to think back, if the thing is like 200 years old, how did they make it?
Yeah, how did they make it? And to know they were
How much time?
They were not the dominant mark. They were trendsetter. You know, making a baguette. So and this is something they were doing all the time. They were always thinking, okay, how do we develop something new for our customer, which is the really high end customer. You know, they were delivering pieces to princes. To kings.
To
Maharajas. You know, the demand was amazing. You know, it was the
budget was endless.
There was one guy. We went to the store. He bought everything at one time. The shop was empty.
There we go.
And the world exhibition was starting. He bought everything, so there was nothing in the store.
to show.
So London and New York sent all the stuff back to Paris.
But that's maybe also so fascinating about the Art Deco era is that a lot of the luxury that we know today, that we see back in watches and jewelry, really comes from that period.
Yeah. So and this is what we see today, and a lot of it's copied. So, but what I really like, especially the Art Nouveau era, was maybe a little bit more special, I think,
Mhm,
because especially
mhm.
the time was better, you know.
Understand, yes.
But
There was more money around it.
No, not more money. This was the Art Deco. It was more or less is a time.
There was more creativity.
No, not creativity, but also it was a change in on how we, you know,
Yes.
women got voting. It is the Art
Yes.
Nouveau era. Women were weren't allowed to wear a dress.
Yes.
They were allowed to make themselves nice. We were buying jewelry for women. So it is a fully other kind of era than the Art Deco era, which was that already integrated. And it went more like, okay, we want more symmetry, we want more nice big stones. It was more extravagant, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so more expressive.
Yeah, and Art Nouveau was, lines were different, you know, it's
This was
really
really a changing era.
changing era, yeah.
So maybe it's good to, because we're talking about history a lot, of course. Maybe it's good to round this off in the sense where we say, okay, what do we think Cartier is going to do for the future? We talked a little bit about them reintroducing designs. Is this something we expect?
What's your prediction that Cartier will do this year?
Hopefully they will, like that last year, the Tank Normal, they will do something with that. Not the Tank Normal, but another piece, signature piece, that they will bring it back.
And which piece is going to
Hopefully
be?
the Corsair, of course, that everybody.
Everybody's looking for. No, yeah, I hope that they come back with all pieces and they do it very well also with the Baignoire, where you say they really reintroduce the old design. So it's not like they introduce a Baignoire in 45 millimeters or something like that.
You know, it's really an old piece which is reintegrated in the collection on a limited amount of watches. You know,
So you're hoping for the Couture bamboo?
something like that. That would be cool. I think a lot of people would want to buy the watch. You know, so
Yeah, I mean.
Do you have a prediction?
Totally. No, I have no clue actually what they're going to do. I think also looking at maybe they're going to focus more indeed on these reintroduction pieces, but maybe also some on the other spectrum also the budget pieces, like they have the Tank in steel. You can buy it for, I think it's over like 2,000 euros somewhere.
3,000.
So it's cool because you get an iconic design with a good movement. It supports movement, but still. Maybe they should focus on that as well. Maybe they're going to focus on that as well, where they have like a combination of high end, but also people introducing to the brand that we see a lot now. Because you can see a lot of people walking out with the musts, but they wouldn't have probably bought an 8,000 or maybe even more at Cartier.
No, especially because modern Cartier is really expensive.
Yes.
Talking about the gold watches there.
Sure.
That'd be expensive.
So I think maybe their focus will be on that as well. What model? No clue. We don't know.
No, you can never say. This is also good. Let's watches and wonders. It's next month.
Let them surprise us.
Yeah.
Okay, Victor.
Because they will. They will not
for
listen
sure.
to us at all.
For sure, no, they are French, they will do what they want.
Of course.
For sure. Well, Victor, thank you so much for telling your
You're welcome.
passion for these watches,
Thank you.
also to share some insights and inside information. It has been really helpful, and thank you so much again. Also check out their stock at Morgenster Vasen, because they also have a few of these watches for sale. And also thank you so much for the past week in which we enjoyed our pop-up store really in your beautiful shop here in Maastricht. Okay, thank you so much. Make sure to also subscribe to our channel, to leave a comment, and if you have any questions about Cartier, we will see them back in the comments. Cheers, have a great day, until the next time.
Bye.